Hey guys, it's Ryan here with HobbiesofaMan once again, and today we're going to be doing another comic book issue review. Today we're going to be looking at Dawnrunner number 3 with no changes to the team here. It's still Ram V, Evan Cagle, Dave Stewart, and Aditya Bidikar as the art and writing teams. And this is a great issue. There's a lot going on here, but it was very, very cool. I really enjoyed it, right? So first we open with the guy that's inside the robot. I forgot his name. What's his name? Ichiro? Let me see if I wrote it down somewhere. Ichi, I guess is his name. Looking out into the distance, where we get to see that Anita drops in. And they're kind of like, she just like appears in this guy's memory or this guy's reality, whatever you want to call it. Onto this war-torn region. The kids are sad, obviously, because they're experiencing this. And then Ichi tells them that he's here for them. He has this moment with his son where he's like, you don't have to talk about it, but I'm here for you, right? And I think it's a great kind of moment. I really appreciate it. Then he asks Anita, you know, where is she? Where is she from? What's going on? You know, is she from the future or what? You know, she tells him, yeah, I am from the future. We have survived, but not really won the war against the Tetsa, and he's surprised about the fact that they have names. And then Murali, the tech guy that is trying to decipher the language of these Tetsas, cuts her out of the connection. He pulls her away because she was drifting too far into the memory, right? Which is very similar to Pacific Rim, right? So basically, she was like in danger of absorbing or being absorbed by Ichi's memories and turned into a single entity, which is bad because this would mean that the technology that they set up for, you know, her IK, her Iron King, is not going to work anymore, right? So there has to be a division between her and the machine for the system to work properly, right? So she was drifting too close into it, and this was going to be problematic. So Murali pulls her out. It turns out that Andrew is actually letting this happen, even though there's a, you know, ethical issue here, which is that one, he's using, you know, the brain of a dead soldier to make this machine. Two, he's allowing his star pilot to do something immensely dangerous, and he's doing it as you know, while someone watches her, so that they can get information out of it. So all of this is fucked up. But I really appreciate the tenacity of the evilry, or of the evil tree of the evilness of Andrew. So I really like that. So she's connected with the Dawnrunner, and it turns out that it's time to go to battle. So she suits up. It's you know, the start of the system, and then we get to see this passage of weeks, right? So week 1, Dawnrunner teams up with this other IK called Molotok, and they fight against this Tetsa called Jawline. And this fight is pretty cool. Molotok is kind of like a Gundam. He reminds me a little bit of like it's not just a Gundam, it's also a little bit like a Zaku, right? So I guess it's more like a Zaku than a Gundam, right? But you know, where Dawnrunner is more of a Evangelion type mecha, you know, Molotok is more of a Gundam type mecha. So hopefully we get to see some other ones, right? Because that stuff is cool. I really enjoy it. So Molotok starts off well. He manages to beat the Tetsa, but then it gets angry and overwhelms them. And Dawnrunner helps him out, and she does these crazy moves, right? Because now that she understands Ichi better, she connects with the machine much better, which is great, and she's kind of aware of what's going to happen. So she makes these really awesome, crazy, badass moves. She takes Molotok's destroyed, what's it called, like chainsaw hand, and uses it to cut the Tetsa, which is awesome. Very cool stuff. Then Anita and Ichi are becoming too close. So Katarina, Anita's friend, the lady that watches over her while she's in the Dawnrunner, gets angry at her. And then she gets angry at Andrew. And mostly she yells at Andrew about it. Then we transition over this week. We end up in week 7, where Murali finally gets a breakthrough. he manages to decode enough about the Tetsa language to learn something about it. Then week 9 happens, and Anita misses her time with her daughter. They call her later. They're like, you missed your meeting, your daughter's not doing well, you need to go see her in the hospital, right? So she rushes over to the hospital because her daughter's in critical condition. She's really sad. She has this sad conversation with Karina as well, and then there's this like exposition that's about to happen about Ichi and his kids that then doesn't happen because there's a big emergency, right? As this is happening, we also get to see that Andrew is having this conversation with the CEO for Bastion, which is another IK company, right? Trying to figure out if he can get his hands on Andrew's new IK technology, but it doesn't really work. Morali calls up Andrew in the middle of their meeting to tell him that something is happening, to tell him that, you know, he made a breakthrough, that there's information coming through now. And then it turns out that the Tetsa are calling for help, right? So every time they yell, every time they scream, every time they do anything, it's a call for help. And then this is exactly when a cocoon emerges from the grieta or something. I can't remember what they call the scar in the sky. And from it emerges this giant cocoon, right? And that's where it ends, and it's a WTF moment, and it was awesome. I really, really like the series a lot. I think that it's great. It's a bit more drama and you know, like human oriented than I thought. I thought that there was going to be more, you know, fighting, but it's not actually a bad thing. I actually really like how this focuses so much on, you know, this human element, right? I really like you know, this concept, and I think that it's something that Ram V actually does a lot. I think I saw an interview with him. I can't remember who was interviewing him. It might have been Sal from Comic Pop, and Ram V was talking about how he wants to explore, you know, people and things, and he wants to explore these concepts and these closures that don't really happen all that often in comic books, and so that's what he kind of does, right? And I really appreciate that, and I think that it's quite good, and I really like the backdrop of like this, right? It does really feel like a more grown-up Evangelion, if that makes sense, where Evangelion is just like depression and being a teenager, and then the trappings of that are the kaiju stuff. This is like depression and being an adult and having responsibilities to children and to other things, right, to other people. But it's really great. I really, really like it. Also, the fighting sequences here were much clearer, which is great. I think that Evan Cagle finally got a handle on the models, and he's making sure that the fighting is a lot clearer, right? So overall, really, really cool stuff. I really like this. So yeah, that's all there is to say. I hope you guys enjoyed, and see you guys next time.